right, strap yourselves in because we're going deep, deep into Pulp Fiction. This movie, well, it's a total classic. I mean, it came out years ago, and people are still talking about it, still watching it, still trying to figure it out. And that's what we're going to do today, right? We're going to unpack this wild ride of a movie.
Yeah, it's a wild one for sure.
So what do you think? Is it the violence, the dark humor, the unforgettable characters? What is it about Pulp Fiction that makes it so damn good?
Well, it's hard to pin down just one thing, you know? It's
Mhm.
like a perfect storm of everything you just said. Tarantino just throws everything at the wall and somehow it all sticks.
And he does it all with this crazy out-of-order timeline, right? Like,
Hmm.
he's playing with time, messing with our heads a little bit, but it totally works somehow.
Oh, absolutely. The nonlinear storytelling, that's a huge part of what makes it so captivating. It keeps you guessing, keeps you on the edge of your seat trying to piece everything together.
So where do we even start with this movie? I mean, there are so many different storylines, so many iconic scenes. I guess we got to start at the beginning, right? But where's the beginning?
Oh, well, that's the trick, isn't it? The movie doesn't really have a traditional beginning, middle, and end. It jumps around, circles back on itself like a twisted Mobius strip.
I knew this movie played with time, but I'm already a little lost.
Don't worry, that's all part of the fun. Let's start with one of the most iconic scenes, the one that opens the movie, the diner holdup.
Oh, yeah, with Pumpkin and Honey Buddy, right. That scene sets the tone for the entire film. It's like Tarantino saying, buckle up, folks, this is going to be a wild ride.
Exactly. And you know what's interesting? That scene, as iconic as it is, it actually takes place at the very end of the movie's timeline.
Wait, what? Seriously? So the movie starts at the end.
You got it.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued.
That's how Tarantino rolls, man. He wants to keep you guessing, keep you off balance. But trust me, by the time the credits roll, it'll all make sense in a weird, twisted kind of way.
All right, I'm ready to get twisted. So if that diner scene isn't really the beginning, where do we actually start?
Well, chronologically, the first scene takes us back to a young Butch Coolidge. Remember Butch, the boxer who throws the fight?
Oh, yeah? Bruce Willis?
Yeah, that's him. So this scene, it shows Butch as a little kid sitting on the floor watching TV. And then his mom's boyfriend, this grizzled old Vietnam vet, walks in, sits down next to him.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
And this vet, Captain Coons, he tells Butch this incredible story, a story about his dad, about how he died in a POW camp, and how this gold watch, the one Butch is wearing, was passed down through generations.
Wow, so that gold watch, it's like a family heirloom.
Yeah, it is. It's more than just a watch. It's a symbol of Butch's family history, his legacy.
And it plays a huge role in the movie, right? Like it's almost like a driving force for Butch.
Absolutely. That watch, it becomes a symbol of fate, of destiny. It drives some of his most important decisions.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all these pieces are going to fit together. So we've got Butch and his backstory. But what about the other main characters? Vincent Vega and Jules Winfield, the hitmen. I mean, they're like the faces of this movie.
Yeah, they're pretty iconic, those two.
So where do they fit into all of this?
Well, their story kind of weaves in and out of Butch's storyline. We first meet them on their way to do a job for their boss, Marcellus Wallace.
Marcellus Wallace, the big bad gangster.
Yeah, it's the one.
He's like the puppet master behind everything, right?
Pretty much. So Vincent and Jules, they're on their way to retrieve a briefcase from some guys.
That briefcase. Everyone always talks about that briefcase. What's in it?
Ah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We never actually see what's inside, but it's obviously something important, something valuable, judging by the way everyone reacts to it.
It's like a mystery wrapped in an enigma.
Exactly.
I read somewhere that Tarantino did that on purpose, like he wanted the audience to fill in the blanks, to come up with their own theories.
Oh, definitely. It's a brilliant move, really. It keeps the audience engaged, keeps them thinking.
And it adds to the whole mystique of the movie, right?
Absolutely.
So Vincent and Jules, they get the briefcase. But it doesn't go exactly smoothly, does it?
Nope, not at all. They run into some trouble, let's just say that.
And that's where things start to get really interesting. But we'll save that for later.
Yeah, we've got plenty of time to unpack all that craziness.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat already. This is going to be good.
You bet it is. You know, it's funny, we were just talking about Vincent and Jules, but Tarantino, he cuts away from them right when things are about to get really intense. He's like, nope, not yet. Gotta keep you guessing.
Right. He throws us back to Butch, who's just woken up in a motel room with his girlfriend, Fabienne. It's like whiplash, from one intense scene to this quiet, almost peaceful moment.
It's all about contrast with Tarantino, keeps you on your toes.
Totally, and it works. So what's going on with Butch now?
Well, he's just thrown this fight, right? The one Marcellus paid him to lose?
And he won instead.
Yeah, he double-crossed Marcellus, which is, not a smart move.
Understatement of the year.
So now he's on the run, trying to get out of town before Marcellus finds him.
But before he can skip town, he has to go back to his apartment and get something right.
That's right, he needs to get that gold watch, the one his dad gave him.
And watch, it's like more than just a watch at this point, right?
Oh, totally. It's like a symbol of his past, his family, everything he's running from.
And it's what leads him right back into danger, right?
Exactly. He goes back to his apartment, and guess who's there?
Vincent Vega, waiting with a gun.
Yep. Talk about bad timing.
That scene in the kitchen, it's so tense, you can practically cut the air with a knife.
And that music, Strawberry Letter 23, playing in the background, it's just perfect.
I know, so unexpected, but it totally works. It adds this whole other layer to the scene.
Oh, for sure. Tarantino's a master at using music.
So Butch gets the drop on Vincent, shoots him dead. Problem solved, right?
Not so fast. As Butch is leaving the apartment, he bumps into Marcellus himself on the street.
Oh, no.
It's a classic case of wrong place, wrong time. They get into a car chase, actually, and they end up crashing their cars right in front of this pawn shop.
And that's where things get really, really weird, right?
Oh, yeah. This is where Tarantino goes full-on Tarantino.
I mean, the gimp in the basement, Maynard and Zed, that stuff is messed up.
It's a whole other level of crazy, that's for sure.
It's like suddenly we're not a crime thriller anymore. We're in a horror movie.
Totally. And just when you think it can't get any worse, Butch decides to do something unexpected.
He saves Marcellus. Right?
Yep. He could have just walked away, left Marcellus to his fate.
But he goes back, grabs the samurai sword, and takes care of business.
It's a wild scene, full of blood and violence, but also there's this weird sense of honor,
Yeah, like, even though Butch hates Marcellus, he can't let him die like that.
It's complicated, their relationship, but there's definitely a mutual respect there, somewhere.
And then Butch rides off into the sunset with Fabienne on Zed's chopper.
Talk about a dramatic exit.
So, Butch is free. He's escaped Marcellus's wrath. What about Vincent and Jules? Where do they come back in?
Well, remember that scene in the apartment where they accidentally shoot Marvin in the face?
Oh, yeah, that was brutal.
They have to clean up that mess. Right. So they call in a favor from this guy, the Wolf.
Harvey Keitel, love him.
The Wolf is like a fixer, a problem solver. He helps them get rid of the body, the car, everything.
And he does it all with this calm, cool demeanor.
He's a pro. What can I say?
So after that little detour, Vincent and Jules are back on track. They got to deliver that briefcase to Marcellus.
But of course nothing goes as planned, does it?
It wouldn't be Pulp Fiction if it did.
They stop for breakfast at this diner right before they're supposed to meet Marcellus.
That diner again.
Yeah, it all comes full circle.
And that's when things go sideways, right?
Yep. They get caught up in that holdup we were talking about earlier.
The one with Pumpkin and Honey Bunny.
They're very...
So wait, does this mean Jules dies? I mean, he was right there in the middle of it all.
But that's the beauty of Pulp Fiction. Remember how Jules was talking about divine intervention after that apartment shootout? How he thought he was touched by God?
Oh, yeah. He was going through a whole spiritual crisis.
Well, maybe he was right. He survives the diner holdup completely unscathed.
Wow. So that whole walking the earth thing, he was serious about that.
It seems so. He lets those robbers go, walks away from his life of crime.
It's like a complete transformation for him.
Absolutely. He finds redemption, a new path.
And what about Vincent?
Well, Vincent's fate is a little less clear.
Yeah.
We last see him in that bathroom right before Butch walks in and shoots him.
Oh, right.
So whether he survives that encounter, well, that's up to the viewer to decide.
I love that Tarantino leaves it open-ended like that. It makes you think.
It's one of the things that makes Pulp Fiction so brilliant. It's a movie that keeps you talking, keeps you coming back for more.
And that ending, back in the diner, with Jules quoting Ezekiel 25.17 one last time. It's just perfect.
Chills every time.
So we've talked about the plot, the characters, the themes, but there's just so much more to Pulp Fiction.
Oh, absolutely. The music, the dialogue, the cinematography, it's all top-notch.
Tarantino really created something special with this film.
It's a game changer, no doubt about it.
A true masterpiece.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything there is to cover on Pulp Fiction. Any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
Just that if you haven't seen this movie, do yourself a favor and watch it. And if you have seen it, watch it again. You'll always find something new.
Great advice. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into Pulp Fiction. It's been a blast.
My pleasure.
And to all you listeners out there, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite movies. Until next time, Keep on watching.